This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting. Today, I'm very lucky to join by not one, not two, but three very special guests. I'm joined by Daryl from Coach's Corner, King Juice, and Boxer Fanatico. So thank you very much for coming on, everyone. It's good to be here. I haven't done one of these kind of talks before. We'll start with you, though, Edward. How's life?
Good, pretty good. Scraping the bottom of the barrel to make sure we we put out some ESBC content. Considering I just saw King Juice's video too. I kind of share the same sentiments that he put up in his video, but I want to still keep the audience engaged and thinking about ESBC as much as I can. So that's really what I'm doing right now. I'm actually putting out more shorts. I never really put out shorts before, but I'm doing it now to just give them like a little like dopamine hit of ESBC and stuff. So
Yeah, I can see what you mean. It's quite hard when Esports Boxing Club isn't really putting out lots of content. I got the easy thing where I can just interview people and it doesn't have to be about the game, but you guys are kind of generally structured about Esports Boxing Club. But how's life with you though, Daryl? Daryl from Coach's Corner.
It's good, man. Staying busy, keeping the channel alive. Like Fanatico was saying, we got to come out here. We got to make some buzz, keep this community hyped up, So we'll come out, throw little tidbits here and there, things to keep people hyped, juiced up until the game drop.
Exactly. You got to keep them tuned in. And you, King Juice, how have you been, mate?
Man, I've been good. I've been busy. I'm also promoting fights right now in Fight Night Champions, but I'll move that over to ESBC. I'm looking to sign some top-tier fighters. Whether you're a top-tier fighter or just a trash talker, we'll be interested in you in Juice Promotions.
Yeah, sounds good. I see Fanatico laughing at that. What's going on there?
Because King Juice has tried his hardest to beat me with all of his fighters, but he just can't do it. He's put Coach Anthony in front of me. I took him out. He put who else? Dark Side, JMMA. He probably paid that dude that came in with 2,000 wins to try to beat him. It didn't work. Nobody could beat Fanatico, man. We need Malky in there to make it a good competition.
Fred, can we mute him?
It's true. Juice, it's true. Juice.
Dark, as of right now, Dark Side's the only official partner of Juice Promotions. And we just laid the groundwork in those few fights. With this upcoming tournament, we're going to show you what we are made of. So
the groundwork was me outboxing him 10 rounds straight?
No, we wanted to see how you fought. You're very, you're very in that meta. You even said it. Headshots count more than body shots. So we're going to go into that next fight remembering that.
Well, I'm sure we'll see King Juice Promotions at some point. I'd just like to say, when watching this right now at home, you mind clicking the subscribe button and thumbs up. Much appreciated. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So I've got a few points here I just want to get covered. We'll start with ESPC wish list. These are fighters which are not already in the game, which you'd like to be in the game. We'll start with you, Edward. I know you got your Shakur Stevenson, which that reaction was quite something. I mean that used. But what fighters would you like to see in the game which haven't been already announced?
Well, I did put out a list about fighters that I want in the game. Some of them already came to fruition, which Deontay Wilder was one of them. But I would like to see Oscar De La Hoya in there. Inoue, definitely want to see him in there. I think by this point, Floyd Mayweather, of course, but I think that I'm pretty content with the list. Like, I'm pretty okay with it. So to me, it's if they add someone else, that's great and amazing, and I'll take it. But it's okay with me. It's neither here nor there. A few more people, like I just mentioned, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, you see what you mean, because Floyd Mayweather, I messaged Jeff yesterday because one person put it on Twitter and Jeff was saying no, he's not in that game. And as of late anyway, I mean, they kind of got everyone you kind of want, all the big stars now, and now it's kind of come down to the nitty-gritty stars that you kind of want in the game. But what about you then, King Juice? Anyone you want to see in the game?
Man, it changes from day to day. I know we did this when we talked recently, man, but like I left off Andre Ward, of course, Earl Spence, the Charlo twins. I mean, a new it just changes every day. I can't even pinpoint anybody at this point. Pacquiao, Cotto. So just all those guys for me would be huge because those are some of my favorite guys to watch. So yeah.
Yeah, some of those PBC fighters that I see the Charlo twins on there as well. And what about you then, Daryl? Anyone you want to see particularly in the game? I mean,
Man, there's still a lot out there. I mean, Mike Tyson, Errol Spence, NOA, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Tank Davis. Man, I can go on forever.
I mean, with Devin and Tank, Devin already said no, which was a bit odd, I would say. And then Toronto Davis, he did comment on Wilder's post saying, "I'm with you, champ." So that looks pretty promising. And who do you guys think the cover star will be? Obviously, like FIFA and games like Madden, WWE, you always have that cover star once a year, the annual cover star. You always feel quite important when it comes down to marketing. We'll start with you, Daryl. Who would you like to see on the cover, or does it really just not matter to you?
Ooh, man. The cover don't matter a lot, but I think because he is the face of boxing right now, I believe I think it'd be crazy if you didn't see Canelo on the cover.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. It might come down to the deal. I did ask whether, obviously, can't really say, but with the deal, when they do sign the contract and negotiations, I guess some of them will ask they can be on the cover. What about you and Edward? Anyone you want to see on the cover, or does it really not matter?
I think that definitely they need to have Canelo in it, but I wouldn't mind like multi-fighters on the cover, with Canelo probably being pushed up to the front of the cover. I think that'd be cool. It'll kind of open up the floor a little bit more for more people. But rarely do we see that. I think the fight night games from before, they had like Gotti and Ward sometimes on the cover. But I think that if they have multiple people, it tells a better story about the game, in my opinion.
You can see it. And if you get fans that maybe don't like Canelo Alvarez, but they've also got, I don't know if he's in the game, or Andre Ward, or maybe if you're Roy Jones, I guess. That'd be quite a smart thing to do with Canelo Alvarez. And I guess you've got Muhammad Ali or Roy Jones, because in the older generation can relate. And one last but not least, King Juice. What are your thoughts on the cover situation?
Yeah, I think Canelo's a lot, but I could see like a dual athlete, Canelo and like a legend like Muhammad Ali, someone just everybody's going to be able to recognize and say, "Oh, Esports Boxing Club has Muhammad Ali. Let me pick that up. I didn't even know this was a thing." So I think they're going to attack it in that way, kind of get a current star, well, Canelo and a legend.
Yeah, so I mean, we have both sides of the market. And one genre which is really kind of popularized social media, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube is a career mode in the game. And they haven't really revealed much about the career mode. Obviously, they've released a roster, and they've also released some gameplay footage. But that's the career mode is probably the next big thing that hasn't properly been covered. So, Darrow, what are your thoughts on career mode, and what are you kind of expecting then?
I kind of have to take it back, like to the like in the beginning when they had put out their original like idea of what career mode and what ESBC was going to be. They made it seem as though like the game was going to be like an RPG. You can advance through the game. You could pretty much control anything that your fighter did, down to their nutritionist, man. And I think they should deliver on that, because that brings an aspect that we haven't seen in a video game yet. You know, like that full on control, man. And that's what I would expect with a career mode when it comes out. Just being able to go from amateur to pro to retirement to potentially Hall of Fame, man. It'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, career mode is one thing in a game that everyone always likes to play and is always quite good. But what about you and King Juice? What are you expecting from career mode? What would you like to see?
Yeah, I with this one, I know it's a touchy subject and it's not something that I guess is needed immediately, maybe, but I would love to be able to just have my career mode. Of course, get through the amateurs in the lower ranks, but also just make sure it's filled with the current roster, right? Because when we go online and rank, people aren't going to necessarily use all the fighters that we have on the roster. So where some of those other guys that aren't going to fit into the meta would fall in was being used in career mode. And I would love to go in and like edit their stats and their tendencies to kind of, I don't know how that's going to look when the game drops, but if it's not completely up to my standards, to be able to edit it and kind of, I guess, have my own kind of difficulty with the career mode. And just, of course, just different paths, you know, like I said in our other interview, you know, if I want to skip amateurs, maybe have 10 amateur fights and go pro, or just have hundreds of amateur fights and go pro, just kind of have different career paths when going pro. And that's, yeah, and the RPG element definitely is definitely something that would make career mode, it would take it to the next level, because I do love RPGs. So
Yeah, it's interesting when you're saying about the amateur boxing. So say if you had 10 amateur fights in career mode when you turn pro, and I guess all your kind of stats and levels would be a lot lower. But then if you had 100 amateur fights, which you need to be quite experienced, any experienced amateur boxer going pro with 100 fights, obviously they moved a lot faster in their career mode and the stats obviously be a lot taller. But with you, Edward, you made some quite interesting points about, I think it was a round table, and about how you can go with your mates to the gym and kind of hang around in the gym and spy your mates and hit the bag. We need to explain a bit about that then, about your career mode and what you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean that to me, that's a thing that ties into the online multiplayer as well. And I think it's more interesting in the online multiplayer arena that you could go ahead and have that situation where you can have like 6 of your buddies in the gym, sparring, hitting the bag. One thing that I do want, and I know that I'm always reaching with these with these requests, but it is like little mini simulations of like jumping rope, things of that nature. And I think that that'd be really, really cool and engaging and different. But really touching on the things that, King Juice and Coach stated of career mode, one of the things that would make it incredibly interesting for me, something I know that they can do, is what they said, just having full control of your career path. I want to be able to do something like focus heavily on going to the Olympics or something of that nature, as opposed to just immediately jumping into the pros and having like that whole thought of that process, like making that my North Star. And then once I do that, which can take however long it takes, then making that decision to go to the pros. And of course, bringing my stats with me, which gives me an advantage over somebody who would just have like 10 fights and go pro.
Exactly. Kind of gets more technical there, which is obviously very important. And I think what NBA did very well is where you can kind of go out and walk around on the street or play basketball with your mates in the court or buy some new trainers or a new basketball, which I thought was very smart of them to do. And just a few last points, I don't take too much of you guys' time today, but the release date is something that has always been questioned. I mean, at the start, I was talking to Ryan Rose and Todd Grisham, they're kind of convinced that the end of the year, but now it doesn't really seem as promising really at the end of the year. But what are your thoughts on the release mode then, Daryl? The release date, sorry, Daryl.
Man, I'm gonna stick like every video, and I catch it in my comment section. People are like, "Yo, this game ain't dropping until like May of next year." Don't get your hopes up. They ain't talking to us a whole lot. I'm gonna stick with it, man. Until I hear differently, I'm gonna stick with the end of the year, whether that be Christmas or early December or Thanksgiving, man. Who knows at this point until we hear from them guys, which they've stated before. Look, if you haven't heard anything directly from us, then take everything with a grain of salt. But right now, everything says end of the year. I'm gonna just stick with end of the year. If they push it back, then I'll eat it, man. I'll eat it and I'll be ready for it come January, February, March, what have you, man, when the game drop. But for right now, it ended.
The thing is, I'm sure that as soon as the game gets pushed back, you guys will probably make a few videos on reasons why the game got pushed back. So it can't really be any news is good news at the end of the day. And what are your thoughts on it, King Juice, and the release date?
Man, I feel like this time next month we'll know. I kind of said in my latest video, we'll kind of know if it'll happen by the end of the year. And I know like the rest of the creators know if it's not coming from the Steel City Interactive team, like Coach just said, take it with a grain of salt. So I hope it's December. Trust me, I do. I hope with all my heart it's December. But man, I'm not even expecting it, right? I don't even want to get let down. I feel like a lot of people are going to get let down if it doesn't happen in December, and the Discord's going to be very interesting and entertaining. So like I said, I hope December. I pray it's December, but until Steel City Interactive puts a stamp on it, I'm just here.
You don't want to get yourself kind of disappointed. It's like when you see a film and then it gets delayed and delayed and delayed. It can be a bit frustrating, to put it that way. And you, Edward, I know you've been spending a bit of time with Todd Grisham recently. What do you know about the release date?
Well, I mean, I'm not a person that likes to throw darts on the wall for like without any information at all. So like Coach's Corner, I'm targeting that December release date, that late December, like literally New Year's New Year's Eve as far as possible. But I've also come to like, I have like a piece to me in terms of if it comes out whenever it does, like if it's next year, summer or whatever. Like I think back to certain things, and I remember how hyped we were for the release in December of last year.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we already came back around. Like we are already back around to December. So if it does get pushed back, which considering that they haven't given us any information when they should be ramping up kind of hype into release, it's possible that it could get pushed back. But if it does, I'm at peace with it. I'm okay with it. And I know that time will pass and one day we will have the game. One day all of this stuff will be like, we'll look back to it and just laugh about it, how we couldn't get the game or we wanted it so bad and we were so hyped for it. And we'll just be playing it and everything would be forgotten because all we would be doing is having fun with ESBC. So to me, I'm at peace. I've already reached the point where I'm at peace with whatever they do with that release date.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know that the game was meant to be released in December last year, but then you've got to look how far the game has come since last December. Look at the graph. Everyone was complaining about, oh yeah, cool, it could be a good game, but then look at the graphics. And now look at the graphics. You could say they're better than the UFC graphics. And I mean, foresight is a good thing because now in about a year's time, you have to look back at all of this and realize how much stuff you got wrong in the predictions and how many things you got right. And just one point, I really want to know, I don't talk on Twitter, but obviously now all you can play is Fight Night. The game's not released, but who's the best? Who's the best at Fight Night then? How do games go?
I don't think it's a competition. I think I'm hands down the best Fight Night player of all the content creators, I'm gonna have to say.
You played against Reese, against JMMA, all of that lot.
Oh man, that was a massacre. I don't even think we should talk about that because it's gonna knock JMMA down a few notches. So I think for his career on YouTube, I think it's best that we just stay away from that conversation.
Daryl, we're staying a bit quiet here. Is this all correct what Fanatico is saying?
Hey, look, man, I'm not fit and flashy like Fanatico. Right? I keep to myself, all right? I'm a stealth assassin, I is. I'm just waiting for ESBC to drop. We'll go from there.
And King Juice, what about your King Juice promotions? Do you agree with all of that?
With the Fight Night champions, man, I played the game, like 4 years ago. I haven't played it since then, right? So I'm just not in the competition. No, I haven't played it since then, so I don't have any excuses. I'm just now kind of in that promotion phase. Like I've had urges to just go get an Xbox and play, but I feel like I already put out a bad video that I shouldn't have put out and it knocked me down. So I'm not going to do that again. So I'm trying to stay away from it. Hopefully again, December ESBC, so I can just kind of grind and be competitive in that. But I'm with the Fight Night, I'm outside the ring. I'm promoting these fights, getting these fights made.
Oh, that's very important then. And are you guys all on Xbox? Or do you think the game will be cross-platform?
I hope the game is cross-platform. I think that would make so much sense and just open that game up way more. Because the chances of you getting a situation where you won't find anybody in the lobby is going to be super low when it's connected with all these other consoles. And
what consoles do you guys have? You on Xbox, Xbox, PlayStation?
Yeah, I got them all, man. So can't nobody hide from me once it come out. I'll travel to you. But yeah, I'm with Fanatico, man. Like I always use Apex Legends as a reference point. They have a situation right now where on PC, like lobbies take a long time. It's difficult to find games and all that type of stuff, man. But the consoles are great because they're connected to each other, at least PlayStation and Xbox. So I think it makes sense. I think it makes the most sense to make sure that the game is cross-plat. I think you're missing out on a massive opportunity if you don't make it cross-plat. But the fact that it's a live service game, if they don't drop it that way, then it's something they can always work towards later on. So I think it definitely needs to be in the development path at some point.
Yeah, it's very true. It has to be a cross-platform. And Edward, do you have Xbox?
I had the Xbox One, literally the first one ever when it came out. That's the one that I have. It still works for me. I haven't felt the need to upgrade since everything is kind of all the games connect. But I do have a PlayStation 5, so that I have in the PC. So I'll be able to play on those consoles when the game comes out. But I'm probably looking to play on PC. Just because it's easier for me for streaming and all that stuff. So that's probably what I'm going to do. That's why I wanted to be cross-platform, so I don't have to go on the PlayStation 5 to play somebody on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that is coming early access. Ryan Rose says that it will be on PC first. That's the good thing. And last but not least, King Juice, what do you want? What console?
So PS5 and PC right now, but when the game drops, I was looking to probably get an Xbox. But I don't. Man, I've been in the PC scene for a minute. The PC guys have been fiending for a combat sports game on PC. So I don't think there won't be any problems finding games strictly on PC. But man, of course, cross-platform would just take it to the next level. Because I mean, not a lot of people, besides people that play Fight Night, not a lot of people have an Xbox. There's really no point. It's a paperweight, It's not.
I have Xbox.
I'm joking, but
it's a paperweight. A whole Xbox. He's gonna use
it. How many papers you weighing down with that?
No, but yeah, cross-platform. Like I don't want them to invest too much time now, but once a game drops, like it seems like they're also trying. I think I saw something in the Discord that it's not currently something they're working on, but they do have it in mind. So yeah, just being able to connect with people from account to account. And I want to be able to use my PC account on my PlayStation account. Now I want to support the game, but I don't want to be buying DLC here and DLC there. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, the money could rack up rather fast. I know they're definitely going to be releasing a few DLCs. Should be quite interesting to see what they do with that. All right, guys, thanks. I know it's quite impressive getting 3 people on at the same time, organizing the time zones and the days. So thanks so much for the time you spent taking out your day today. We'll start with you, Edward. Where can people find you on social media? You got anything coming up?
Yeah, I mean, you could find me on YouTube, of course, at Boxing Fanatico, Twitter at Fanatico Boxing. I always have to make that emphasis because it is different. Somebody had my Boxing Fanatico tag, and on Instagram, Boxing Fanatico.
Awesome. I'll put all the channels in the description, but what about you then, Daryl? Where can people find you?
Twitter, Coach's Corner 83. Y'all, of course, YouTube, man, and recently, man, I got a TikTok. Y'all catch me on TikTok, Coach's Corner. Yeah,
TikTok's important. I got TikTok as well. I thought about it for a while. I thought it was all dances and stuff, and then actually there's some quite cool. And one last but not least, King Juice, so I can find you and got anything coming up.
King Juice at YouTube and on Twitter, 0 King Juice 0. Follow me there. Follow me on YouTube. And yeah.
Awesome. I'll put all your channels in the link in the description. We have a Concept Research channel as well. So he'll join us next time. But guys, thanks so much for your time. It's awesome.
All right.
All right, man.